entrance to the Kaipara, kind to no man or even beast. Yet for years, men have tried to battle the elements and lost. Using all the intelligence, cunning, modern technologies, and a good measure of alcohol, they have engaged nature in a battle only to be beaten back by the very nasty forces that only Muriwai can muster. The shifting sands of Muriwai conquers all, except for a loose collection of oddballs who set out to prove that the ability to endure relies heavily on the ability to drink. This is their story, a story based on grit, guts, and booze. The year is 1974. The challenge to survive. And survive they did, with love, laughter, lunacy, labour, and most importantly, an overwhelming desire to make an absolute tit of themselves, whilst others were content to sit back and ponder the question, what the fuck am I doing here? Our heroes were too numerous to mention by name, but they all played equal parts in beginning a tradition that lives on to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, Muriwai 1984. Falwell, Whistler, Naden, Bloom, Over, Falwell, Gitz, Ryan, Meeson, Falwell, Naden, Bloom, Bentham, assorted progeny, and how could anyone forget Finnegan? Names that have earned a place in the Muriwai legend. Friday the 19th, at the crack of dawn, around about 9 o'clock to be precise, the packing began. The trailer was loaded, the truck crammed. Eager activity was the order of the day, except for one who was not used to fresh air so early in the morning. Still, everything was placed, battened, tied and secured, and the band was ready to embark. A quick group shot to mark the historic occasion, and Muri's, here we come. An almost uneventful journey through the suburbs soon saw the team rallying to the cries of, "Who bought that bloody dog?" But still, no matter where it went or what it entered, a wet canine tongue is no match for the Muriwai spirit. And after following a nose that laid waste to 1,000 road maps, our leader delivered us to a chosen place, only to discover it could no longer be considered virgin territory. The Blooms had arrived. As the group approached and eyesights focused, it became apparent that here was an oasis that even an Arab couldn't buy. pink champagne, cucumber sandwiches. The weekend was off to a blooming good start. But after more champagne than cucumber sandwiches, a man who should have known better embarked brave-faced on his annual Muriwai swim, once again giving rise to the legend of the Great White Pointer. Still, it was not meant to be all fun. The tent needed to be erected. Following a brief and vigorous discussion, the project got underway to the sound of many chiefs and very few Indians. Yet no sooner had the tent been secured than a certain individual took full advantage of the situation. After a brief interlude of domestic chores, everyone reclined in the sand to discuss the pros and cons of drinking elephant beer. After a lot more discussion matched by equivalent drinking, the group dispersed to chase their own desires. And as daylight dwindled and darkness prevailed, sanity regained its hold. Time came to reflect on the day's activities and join in the glow of the open fire. Unfortunately, a record of the evening was lost forever as elephant beer got the better of the cameraman. A 5 a.m. bladder call saw most of the camp come to life. As bleary eyes confronted the morning sun, it was clear that it was going to be a veritable cracker of a Muriwai day. There is, of course, always one that fails to appreciate the beginning of a brand new day, and there again, others had yet to recover from the night before. Yet despite the laggards and the mentally incapacitated, a fishing competition was organised, attracting many ace fishermen. Further throughout the day, Brian taught Finnegan how to dig. Kelly took the four-wheel drive for a spin, and Tom refused to believe in the Muriwai sunshine and dressed for the occasion. Maid Muriwai, displaying the season's fashions, took the chili bin for a walk, and the bombing range held the greatest attraction for the younger members of the party. And our man Pete mounted yet another challenge on the infamous elephant beers. Sooner more than later, enthusiasm succumbed to a lack of energy, and it was left for the group to recuperate in the surrounds of Bloom's camper van. Alan soon showed signs of a loose upbringing and far too much piss by displaying an overeager desire to be as one with a tent pole. Others in the group could only look on in amazement, whilst Margaret saw a distinct symbolism in Alan's gesture. Tony, meanwhile, fresh from a sleep, wanted to rejoin the party. Later that evening, 3 of the members of the team without bristles put on a super display of cooking whilst under the influence, resulting in an even better Chinese nosh-up. Never being one for putting distance between his gut and potential grub, Alfie kindly donated his time to supervise the entire proceedings, and much to his delight, catching any stray tidbits. Throughout the episode he was heard to murmur, "If you haven't dined at Marie's, you haven't dined Chinese." To accompany the banquet, specially bottled Moe and Muriwai champers was served, each bottle carrying the common Muriwai motto, "Oh, I think I'm going to be sick," and all I said was, "Isn't this fun?" After the entire team had showed an enormous lack of willpower and the love of good food, the evening's activities once again settled into the regular pattern of dancing reflections and unsteady gazes.
Elephant beer 2, cameraman responsible for recording night activities, nil.
And so it was, the last day of Muri's 84 saw our, by now not so chirpy team preparing for home. It could be reported that the packing up to leave was a mere reversal of the packing up to go, but sadly this would be far from the truth. Systematic packing went by the board, the catch cry being, "Pack now, sort later." And as the departure time drew nearer, some team members indulged in foolish sentimentality, throwing themselves to the ground and wailing, "I'll never leave, no one can make me." A quick statement to the effect that the group would welcome the extra legroom on the way home soon put paid to such nonsense. As the packing continued and people strove for positions furthest from Flanagan, Muriwai did not fail to disappoint, and promptly began to rain and drizzle as if to remind the team that they'd better piss off from Muriwai or Muriwai would piss on them. And in true Muriwai fashion, that's exactly what she did. But as we already know, the team's spirits were heavily fortified, and the only reaction to the rain was an immediate breaking forth of song. Such was the mettle of the Muriwai team. Sodden, sozzled, and hoarse, the last and final gesture to say adieu was the burning of the Muriwai flag. Under an ever-darkening sky, the team assembled as though to pay their last respects to a bygone friend. And as the time came to pass comment on the weekend, it erupted in one almighty, "Oh, fuck this. Let's go home."